1, 2, 3. In fact, this might be what I talked about tonight, opportunity cost. Let's say I raise $1 million, I go buy an RV park for, like right now I'm buying an RV park, I just got one under contract today, $3.5 million, sub 2, 3.5% interest, 127 pads with 30 acres to expand. That's right. And the seller only wants $400,000 down. So I could buy park for $400,000 down. Again, no money out of my pocket, buy it sub 2. And I could get $1 million tax write-off in my first year. So which one would you rather have? An RV park that you own with $1 million tax write-off, or a fun box franchise that you don't have to run and operate? A guy who already owns 3 of them is gonna operate it for you, and you'll be no money out of pocket, but you get no tax benefits, but you get 600 grand for the rest of your life. Which one? These are decisions you have to make. So I think I might talk about this tonight of like, there's opportunities out there. And what I might even do tonight is I might even raise some money. Should I try and raise some money for the first time tonight? Okay, I'm gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna do that tonight. That's what I'm doing tonight. Do you have leads? Okay, she doesn't have leads tonight, so we're gonna do a deal with me live and in person. We're gonna pitch some deals. Let's go. Colorado Springs, here we go. What's our addiction? Deals. Let me look for more deals, right? So this allows him to have no stress on his back. He knows the finances are taken care of. He's got somebody qualifying for the debt. He's all good. He can now go look for another deal. And if you keep him busy, okay, this is called leverage. If you keep him busy looking for more deals, he'll never learn the skill of raising capital, and he'll just keep coming back to you, okay? So will that solve your problem? Okay, also, why are we looking in rural areas when there's lots of places to look besides rural areas? Okay, love it. All right, good answer. I like that answer. A deal landed in your lap. It just is what it is. I get it. So you got your homework, okay? There you go. Any other questions on this? Okay, cool. Who else got a deal? Let's go to a lady. What do we got? A threeplex in Nashville. What's your name, what's your name? How many Italians we got in here? You might be the only Italian in Colorado Springs, that's for sure. Same thing. That piss anybody off? So you're in Denver. Lisa, what do we got? Triplex.
I got this under contract to represent the seller. This is kind of like we got stock.
Okay, so you got this under contract representing the seller?
Yes.
So you're the agent?
I'm not an agent. I'm a connector. I'm working on this with Scott Glass.
Okay, yeah.
And he brought it to me. We were like trying to figure it out, and at the end we thought, okay, we don't want to buy, let's find a buyer. And this is a unique opportunity because it's not just a triplex. It's also an active Airbnb. It's the original Dolly house in Nashville, and it's making $350K a year.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So you just want to wholesale it?
So initially we thought about that, and then I literally negotiated with the seller back and forth for the last 3 months, and I went from 2.75 to 2.2, and he's asking 20% down to 10% down, so the term kind of got more favorable. We also have operation in place, and based on Scott's background, we think we can like beat this number, optimize the cost. What we did now is we offer it like an equity partner for 25%, and we are looking for 220K for 25% equity.
Okay, interesting. I don't like that deal. You're not giving me enough. Okay, so when you guys raise money, typically when you raise money, you give more money, or you give more equity to the people that brought the cash than to the person who brought the deal. Okay, so I'll give you a good example. I have one of my best assets is in Tucson, Arizona. I bought it for $20 million. I needed to raise $5 million for a down payment. So what percentage is that? 20 million, I needed 5 million for a down payment. What percentage is that? 25%, right? So if somebody brings 25% as my down payment, should I give them 25% equity in the deal? Okay, 10% is still not good enough. On this deal that I raised money for, how much equity did I give the people that brought 25%? 70%. That is standard. Who's in multifamily? My Indian friend back here. You guys are born to be in multifamily. So typically, when we're doing multifamily, we're raising money for multifamily deals, we're giving up usually 70% of the deal to the people that bring the money. 70%. If I'm gonna bring 10% and you're only giving me 25% of the deal, it's not attractive enough for me. I don't think anybody. Because why would if I have $225,000, I'm gonna go put it into this deal and I'm gonna take 25% of the deal. What will I take home every year if I give you $250,000 and I get 25% of the deal, what is my take home every year from my investment? We don't know yet. Okay, that'll be hard when you're raising money because I have to make a decision, right? Am I gonna do the fun box or am I gonna do the RV park, right? Everybody in here that has money is going to look at you and go, good opportunity, but I also have this other great opportunity to make it 20% on my investment plus I get equity in the deal. Like think about the fun box. If you put in, let's say $5,000 in the fund box with me, you would get a 20% return on your money in a year, plus you'd get your money back, and then you'd retain some ownership. That's a pretty great upside, right? Are you willing to put your money into a deal like this, where you're not quite sure how much money you're gonna make, and your money's gonna stay in the deal long term? Do we see like how challenging it can be to raise capital? You gotta make sure you know what you're gonna tell me what I get out of the deal. You're looking for an investor, $250,000.
No, I'm looking for 220.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But why is it the same thing? How many people in here, if the seller wants a $220,000 down payment, that's the only money you're coming out of pocket? Closing costs. Are you guys gonna pay for those or the seller's gonna pay for those? The seller will pay for the closing costs? Okay, that's pretty rare. If they're asking for 10% down, usually you're the one paying for closing costs. So I think you're probably really trying to raise $250,000, just FYI, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I would make sure you know how much your investor is going to get back. What would you guys say is a good return on your money on a yearly basis? Who said that? Okay, I think 8 to 10% if you don't know how to find deals. There's no way you're gonna get me to get 8 to 10%. There's no way in hell. Where are my non-8 to 10%ers? You ain't gonna touch on my 8 to 10%. Because now if I'm passive and I don't know how to find deals on my own, I think 8 to 10%, you're 100% right. There's people not in this room that would be so happy with that number. But this room, you're gonna be at like 12 to 15% because we know how to find deals. I'd rather just go put my money in my own deal, get a larger return. So you're gonna wanna make sure that these people are taking home probably $30,000 to $40,000 in their pocket in order for them to be able to give you $220,000. Do you know how much this property is netting every single year? It's netting $350,000.
So right now it's 120 because there is a mortgage.
Okay.
But like part of the down payment is gonna pay down that, and then we are looking to do a cost segregation, put the money to the down payment too. So the mortgage right now is 660. So after all of that, it should be 100.
Okay, so Lisa, we're gonna map this out. I feel like we got to go get more information. Also, there's a point where I would say, if it was me, I would probably be assigning this deal and moving on.
So that was option 2. That if we don't buy ourselves, we can if we find a buyer.
Who in here is really good at finding buyers? Okay, accountant, Patel. Oh, freaking Justin Patel is one of the best buyers. Okay. You see that guy over there with the pickle on his hat? He is probably one of the top 20 people in the country at finding nationwide buyers, so you definitely need to know him, okay? Nathan, are you gonna hold the whiteboard for me? Are you gonna stand here and just hold it like this and I'm gonna draw on it? We got an easel, bro! Okay, cool. Okay. Why is the seller selling?
Because he's born out and he wanna move with his family to South America and have a holistic life.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Lisa, couple things. How did you run into this deal?
Scott.
He brought it to you and he says,
He knows the seller.
okay, he knows the seller, okay. I don't like this deal, but I also don't like short-term rentals. I feel like if you're gonna raise $250,000, my friend, for anything, it should not be short-term rentals. That's my personality. Remember, everything we decide to do, we say yes to, we are also saying what to other things. So are you committed to saying yes to this and learning to raise $250,000 for this one asset when you could raise $250,000 and own an asset that is way bigger, stronger, and makes way more money? The problem is when you have a bird in the hand and you have a lead, this is where people that don't know how to generate leads, you guys get stuck. It's a very important word. We call it oneitis. You currently have oneitis. It's a disease. Only Americans get it, so you're safe from it. It's called oneitis, and basically when you have one lead, one opportunity, it's all you can think about, all you can obsess with. There's no way my team would spend 14 seconds on this. But I'll still work through with you on this. I think it's not worth your time, personally. If I were you, I have the time and energy to either A, raise money, or B, learn a new skill, generate more leads. I would rather you learn how to generate more leads. This is not worth your time. Okay, then why would you spend any time on this?
Because I've been personally working on this for 3 months and trying to find a buyer.
For 14 months? 3 months, okay.
No, it's a little bit less than 3 months, and I kind of got at that point where like, should we just let it go? Or
Yes.
find a buyer?
Yes, let it go.
Should I try to find a buyer?
Have you ever seen Elsa? Hey, Pakel, if I have a good deal, should it take 3 months to sell it?
Take the same day.
Same day. A good deal sells in 1 to 2 days, period, end of story. Now, what I would do is as my last ditch effort, I would go to somebody who has a nationwide buyers list, and I would see if you could have him try and sell it for a couple of weeks, and I would assign that deal and do not get wrapped up into that thing. Because this is a marriage. You're marrying a short-term rental. Do you want to marry a short-term rental? Somebody in here that likes wallpaper is going to be like, yes, I like short-term rentals. They're dumb. They're so bad. Nobody likes short-term rentals. The only people that like short-term rentals are the people that manage short-term rentals for other people, because they're the only ones that actually make any money.
I mean, I own them. I've done it for like 10 plus years, and that's how I started. Was in New York City.
It's great. You did it. What you're doing here, so guys, pay attention, everybody. So when you do a deal, I want you to remember something. You guys think you're doing a deal. Travis, you pull those knuckleheads over to the side. Will you speak French to Pakel over there? Okay, so every time you do a deal, you guys think you're doing a deal. What you're really doing is you're acquiring a skill, a relationship, and a resource in every single deal. That's weird, but every single time you did a deal before, the 10 years before, every time you did a deal, you got a new skill, a new relationship, and a new resource every single time you did a deal, correct? What skill are you going to learn doing this deal that you really need to learn? Getting equity is not the skill. Getting equity is the reward of the skill. The skill is raising money. You need to learn how to raise money. Do you want to go learn how to raise $250,000 on a triplex in Nashville to do another short-term rental? Is that what your future looks like? If the answer is yes, I'll help you with the deal. If the answer is no, I would tell you to go sell this with Justin Pakel.
My goal and the reason I joined Subto is to gain multifamily.
This ain't multifamily.
I actually come from another community. Michelle Bison is actually the one that people need to got me in Subto.
Lisa, stay on task. How can I help you? Do you want to sell this deal, or do you want me to help you raise? Okay, let's sell the deal. Pakel, you're selling this deal for her, okay? Okay, so Lisa, now you want to do multifamily, right? Can I help you just get multifamily deals? Okay, here's what I want you to do. Can you come on tomorrow's jam session with me, and I will show you how to get multifamily deals that you will, okay. Can you and I make a promise to each other? I never want you to look at another short-term rental as long as you live.
I promise.
Okay. Now, do I think short-term rentals are good for starting? Yes, but my friend, you have outgrown short-term rentals. You can feel it, I think, inside you. You know you're meant for much bigger. This is just gonna drain your energy. We need to get you multifamily leads. I'll help you with that tomorrow morning on the jam session. Can you come on there and hang out with me? Okay. And you need to come see me more often on that jam session, don't you agree? And just instead of just listening, you should raise your hand and build a relationship with me. Okay, pinky promise? Do you guys pinky promise in Italy? Okay, cool. Awesome. Give it up for Lisa. And Pakel. Thank you, Justin. Colorado Springs, we had a blast tonight. We're hanging out with all of our best friends in Colorado Springs. We will see you guys in Denver, Colorado, where we should have about 600 people there. Tonight, we did a handful of deals. My team already emailed me and said we have 2 of those deals that they look forward to funding. So we'll see you guys in Denver tomorrow night. Later.